Radiant and Resilient is about mindset and faith to break paradigms and overcome challenges in our life. Because when the mind, body, and spirit are aligned, we literally radiate from the inside out. I'm Kay Vasquez. Let's dive in.
After being in functional medicine for about 6 years, I want to share my thoughts and insights on supplements, because what I've noticed is that functional medicine can start to look a little bit like Western medicine. Instead of prescribing a bunch of medications for the different symptoms, the different issues that someone is experiencing, it can be replaced with supplements. And I love functional medicine, first off, so don't get me wrong, I love functional medicine. I just can see where there are some tweaks that need to be made. So anytime I learn something, I take what makes sense, what feels good, feels aligned, and make adjustments, make tweaks. I'm here to do things in a little different way and not necessarily go with the flow, because in functional medicine, it can start to look a lot like Western medicine, where there's protocols and specific supplements recommended for different things, right? So even though in functional medicine, we do tests to get to the root cause, a lot of times supplements are used in place of medications, which definitely help people get better. But I personally believe people should not be on like 10, 15 plus supplements every single day long term. Like, that is not how God designed our bodies. So I do want to say, I do believe that there's a time and place for medications. I do believe that there's a time and place for supplements. But this is where we have to get really clear on what does the body actually really need. And did God create us to take a bunch of supplements? Because if we are relying on a lot of supplements for like energy, for example, that's not really addressing the root cause. We need to dig deeper. You should naturally have energy without supplementation. Something I always say to my clients in regards to supplements is supplements are supplemental to doing the work. Again, I believe there's a time and place for it. So when we look at the physical body to see what we need to support, say there's poor gut health. Yes, I will recommend digestive enzymes. I will recommend probiotics, antimicrobial herbs, things like that to help support our gut health. But most importantly, what I really want my clients to focus on is eating foods that give them energy, that help them feel good, and to avoid the ones that don't. So the gut healing protocol should be temporary, should be only for a couple months until they start to feel better, until they're able to tune in and their bodies are letting them know what feels good for them or not. Probiotics, in my opinion, are great short term, but I don't believe that we should be taking them long term, only if we need additional support, right? So again, it's doing the work. It's identifying what food is going to help me feel better. Because if I have a digestive issue, but I'm eating a food that impacts my digestion, well, obviously I want to avoid it, either for a short period of time, or maybe it's something that my body isn't able to handle. Like, for example, for me, when I had gut issues, I discovered that I was really sensitive to tomatoes. Tomatoes cause bloating. It also caused me to feel very tired and fatigued. Once I healed my gut and I brought back tomatoes, it still caused the same thing. Even though other foods I had avoided, I was able to bring them back in and I had no issues. When it comes to healing the body so we feel our best physically, yes, supplementation for a short period of time can be helpful. And I also want to speak to supporting our hormones and our adrenals. Again, we can get caught up in taking all these different supplements, and there's a lot of supplements out there, a lot of marketing out there, right? If you have hormonal imbalance, if you have PMS, if you have low energy, if you have weight gain, if you have this, if you have that, here's a supplement for this, here's a supplement for that. And a lot of supplements, one, they're not regulated. Which doesn't necessarily mean it's a good or bad thing, because FDA regulates medications, but medications come with side effects too. There's a lot of things that they approve that they really shouldn't be approving, and then there's things that they should approve that they aren't approving. But anyway, when it comes to what you're experiencing physically in the body, I love to actually do the testing to figure out exactly what's going on and what a person needs. But also the goal, the key is for my client to take certain supplements short term. So when it comes to energy, yes, we want to look at the health of our gut. We want to look at our hormones, our adrenals, our sex hormones, our thyroid hormones. We want to look at nutrients, for example. So when it comes to testing, especially supporting energy levels, I love looking at the adrenals, because a lot of my clients that come to me that have low energy levels are drinking caffeine, are taking different supplements for adrenal support or for energy. And while yes, it's important that we are supporting the body with the right nutrients, so B vitamins, magnesium, adrenal support alone isn't enough. I have some clients taking ashwagandha and taking all these things. And yes, I love ashwagandha. I love adaptogens. I too once took these supplements to support my adrenals when I was experiencing fatigue. But this is why I say supplements are supplemental to doing the work. Because when I was taking adaptogens, I was taking supplements, I was doing yoga, I was doing meditation, I was doing all the things to support my adrenals, support my cortisol levels, I was still living in survival. I still needed to do the inner work. I needed to scan my body to tune in and notice that I was stuck in survival because I had tension that I was still holding on to. I was experiencing specific emotions like overwhelm, for example, subconsciously, that I needed to dig in a little bit deeper to see where it was coming from, process and release it, and shift back into a parasympathetic or a flow or healing state to be able to release that and relax my muscles, relax my body. Because if I didn't do that, then it was going to trigger a migraine. With my clients, I can't express this enough, why it is so important to also do the work. It's important to make lifestyle changes, so tweaking what we're eating to support our body with the right foods that's going to give us that energy, that's going to help us feel our best, but also making shifts and changes to wind down at bedtime so we can get good quality sleep, make shifts and changes in the morning when we wake up so we're not starting our day in sympathetic and survival mode, right? But also, as things come up during the day, that's going to trigger us. That's going to put us back into that survival state. If we're not working through that and processing and releasing that, it's going to affect us physically because it requires a lot of energy. It requires a lot of resources to keep us in that survival state. And supplements only do so much. So I've talked about it before on the podcast about sleep. Like a lot of people coming to me and asking me about supplements for sleep, melatonin, things like that. But again, it's important to do the inner work. Same applies with energy. Same applies with weight loss. Like, yeah, you can take a medication, you can take a supplement to get quick weight loss, but it's only going to last so long because the moment you stop that supplement, the moment you stop that medication, the weight's going to come back. Because when it comes to losing weight, it's more than just taking a supplement. It's more than a dietary change. It's more than exercising. It's also looking at the thoughts, the patterns and conditioning, everything that you have associated with food, with the lifestyle changes. Because we can make changes initially, but are you maintaining them long term? What's the intention behind everything that you do? Lots of episodes to go back and listen to if you haven't yet. One, setting the intention, because I think it's so important. When something's off, there's a balance in the body. We're experiencing things physically in the form of symptom. It's our body telling us that something's off, something needs to be looked at. We need to really get to the root of what's going on. And while, yes, supplements can be helpful to help support the body where we feel our best again, let's not forget about the mental and emotional part, about doing the deeper inner work, about connecting spiritually with God, because I do believe that these are the things that are missing when it comes to our health and can easily get overlooked. that's why there's so many people out there going from doctor to doctor, specialist to specialist, functional medicine practitioner to the next, spending lots of money on tests, spending lots of money on supplements, and getting some improvement, but not really fully feeling their best. And that's because healing is multifactorial. It's multidimensional. And supplements are supplemental to doing the work. You can't forget the work piece. So I just wanted to share my insights and perspective, because after being in Western medicine, transitioning into functional medicine, and recognizing there's so much more to healing than just taking a supplement and changing your diet and exercising, I don't want you to miss the bigger picture of what's really truly going on. Because like I said, God intricately designed our bodies to function. And yes, we may need specific nutrients to supplement because our soils are depleted, our food is depleted. And even though we do the best that we can to supplement our body with the right nutrients, there's only so much we can do and so much that we can control, right? But if you're finding yourself supplementing for energy, supplementing to address PMS, to address a hormonal imbalance, to help you to lose weight, to help you to sleep, to optimize your gut health more than a couple of months, that means there's something else going on, that something else needs to be looked at, something else needs to be addressed. Because a lot of these things should be temporary. Because God designed our bodies with this innate intelligence that's within us that can heal, but we have to do our part and do the inner work as well, to tune into our thoughts and our feelings, our emotions, the state that we're in, to connect with God, to reconnect back to the peace and the love. Because if we're disconnected from that, you can take supplements all day, but if you're constantly in a state of fear and survival, it's not going to help. It's not going to help. This is why it's so important to work with someone who's not just going to recommend supplements in a specific protocol. It's something to watch out and be aware of, because as an entrepreneur, as a functional medicine practitioner, I've been a part of masterminds, and it was common for me to focus on a specific niche, helping a certain person with a certain condition and recommending a method and selling that, right? If you really want to help people, create a method. But the problem is that if you see a method or a protocol, it's basically putting people into a box and saying, oh, if you follow my 5-step process, my 10-step process, whatever step process, you'll get X result. If you have this issue, you get this result. Yes, it may help you. It may help some people, but it's not going to help everyone. And you don't know if it's going to help you or not. And that's the problem with a method or a specific protocol, is that it wasn't designed to be personalized. It doesn't look at the person as a whole. Yes, it may claim that it's getting to the root cause, it's supporting the gut, it's supporting the hormones or whatever, but it's not taking into account the person as a whole, their mental, their emotional state, their spiritual state, who they were designed to be, how they're meant to show up in this world and use their energy efficiently. And so I share this because, having been through functional medicine, again, like I said, I love functional medicine. It has been eye-opening. It helps us to focus on a lot of physical things that we can do to support our body and our health. But there's some tweaks and adjustments that need to be made. There are some gaps, some holes that still aren't helping people to really step into embodying their full radiance. Because remember, when the mind, body, and soul, the spirit, when it's all connected, that's when we are connected to our life force, which is this radiant energy that's inside of us, that radiates from the inside out. Because we are feeling our best. We are living in alignment with who we are. But it requires so much more than just changing a diet, exercising, getting sleep. Sometimes there's a lot of deeper layers that we have to dive into. So that is why supplements are supplemental to doing the work. If you found this helpful, you're currently experiencing some physical imbalances in the body, and you've been seeking the answer. You've been trying to get to the root for a long time. You've seen a lot of doctors, a lot of specialists, and still aren't feeling your best. Still feeling frustrated because you don't know what to do. There's so much information out there saying what you should do, what you shouldn't do. And you've tried a lot of supplements for the specific things that you're experiencing and still not getting the result. That's because there's so much more. You are a unique individual person. You're not meant to be put into a box. The supplements are not personalized. The protocols are not personalized. So if you want to get that support, to get that guidance, to be seen, to be heard, to actually look at what your body really needs, that's what I'm here to help you do. And if that resonates with you, I'd love to learn more about you and what you're currently experiencing and explore what it would look like to work together. Hop on a connection call. Let's chat. Until then, stay tuned to Radiant and Resilient as we keep diving in, exploring different concepts to align the mind, body, and spirit to become your most radiant and resilient self.